Hello and welcome to my first tutorial. It's the basics of retargeting an IK chain in Unreal 5. So first thing we need to do is make a folder for creating the rigs. And a new folder, let's call it rigging. And you need to go to animation and click IK rig. So my main character, which I'm using the animation from, is from Mixamo, and this is the Mixamo character, and the Mixamo skeleton is called the Xbot. So let's call this the Xbot, and let's create another IK rig. This is for the female mannequin. So let me select female and call it. Let's create another animation IK rig, and let's now select the mannequin. So let's call this male mannequin. And now let's create another one for the metahuman. And for this one, I'm going to use the M tall narrow body. So let's call this the metahuman tall body. And to do the retargeting, we need to basically create something called the IK retargeter. So we're going to use the Xbot as our main for now. So let's select that and call this Xbot retarget. So we are going to make duplicates of this later, but let's just start with this. So the first thing we need to do is open this up, and I'll select the female, male, metahuman, and the Xbot. So this is where we can change a lot of things, but I'm just doing this as the basics. So let's start with that. So what we have in the previous Unreal was each bone was connected to each bone. But in the new UE5, we basically have something called as chains. So we can add a chain from here, but I actually prefer to select the chains here. So the first one, we need to set this as the retarget route, and you can see there it shows up as a retarget route. And now we need to create chains. So for the metahuman, the route is the pelvis. So set retarget route. For the mani, it is the pelvis. Set retarget route. For the female, it's set retarget route. And this is basically our retargeter. So at this place, we can retarget one character at a time. So let me select, let's say, the female. So here you have an option to offset it if you want, instead of it being in the same place. So 150 is the default. Let's go and set it to 0. And now we see we can change the scale to 1.1. So much 1.05, 1.025. So now the head and the structure matches pretty closely. So let's keep that at that. So coming back to the first thing we need to create, let me move the Xbot here. So Xbot retarget, Xbot is our main character. So we create a basic, let me show you the animation. So if you go to the asset browser, you can now see just by retargeting the bone, the only thing which is retargeted is the pelvis. So when we set the pelvis and you change it to any character, and select the animation. The pelvis is now connected to the pelvis of that, and that's for all the characters. Yep, that works. And yeah, so we can't do the export to export, but let's go back to this and clear this. So the export will be to the, let's do the female Manny first. So that works. So now we need to create IK chains. So we have spine, spine, spine. We're going to select that and basically create a new chain, new retarget chain from selected bonds. So this selects that, and you have the start bonus is spine and the end bonus from spine 1 and 2. So we can go now to female Manny, select spine 1, 2, 3, and say new retarget chain from selected bones. So the moment we do that and save, we go to Xbox, sorry, Xbot. So if you go to chain mapping, you can just click auto map chains. So the moment you do that, you will notice how spine is also bending accordingly. So same way we have to do everything, neck, head, create a new chain and say, okay, go to female Manny, go to neck, head, and create a chain. And now if you select auto map chains, now you'd be able to see that as well. So let's go back to the export. Let's select the hand, right shoulder, right arm, right forearm, right hand, and create a new chain. So this is the hand chain. So the female Manny, same thing, lower arm hand, till the hand, and create a new one. There, that's done. So if you go back to this and say auto map chains, now you can see the hand is moving exactly the same way. Uh, we still have to edit the pose, so let's go back and no, the reason we won't be editing the pose is because we're doing 4 different characters, and the pose will not work that way. We have to later copy the retarget link. So right now I'm just setting up all of these. So if you go there, left arm, fill hand, and new retarget. Okay. So we go to female Manny, select that, clavicle, upper arm, lower arm, hand, and new retarget. Okay. So let's go here and auto map change. So now the hands are moving the same way. And now let's try the same thing with this guy and new retarget chain. That's spine. We have clavicle, upper arm, lower arm, hand. Create a new one. Okay. So let's click on this and new retarget chain. So now if I go back and change those to the male Manny and press on the animation, now you'd see his hands, his spine is all moving together. So now let's do the same thing with our metahuman. This is really a good way of doing it because the previous Unreal we couldn't retarget every bone, but now it's more like a chain. So the chain is much better, like a IK spline handle in Maya. So yeah, let's do that. Neck, sorry, neck, neck. Yeah. So these 3 can be the head joints for the metahuman. And for hand, let's do clavicle, upper arm, lower arm. Let's not take the twists. Let's just select the hand and say new retarget chain from selected bones. So same thing for the right hand, clavicle, upper arm, lower arm, and hand, and new retarget chain. So when we come back to this, let's change it to the metahuman, and now we see the same animation is being applied to any character we select. So I think this is a much better way of retargeting, and I think Unreal has done a great job with this. So now let's go to the hips, legs, and right leg, left leg, right foot, turn. Let's create a new Nike chain. Create a Nike chain from here to here to here. Done. So for the female Manny, let's select that. Don't take the twists. There might be something else. New retarget chains. Let's make sure we ignore the twists. Like put what? Create new retarget chain. So let's come back here just to check the map chains and save, and let's play an animation. So now in the chain mapping, the thigh left is going to the right and the thigh right is going to the right. So this can be easily changed to left. So you can see that working already. Save that. I think we're nearly done with the female mannequin. So let's go to Manny. Create a new retarget chain. Create new retarget chain. And if we now go back and change it to male and select an animation, yes, that works. So the same thing with the metahuman. Let's select that. Like our football. And create a new retarget chain. There is a door as well, but yeah, let's not do that. So come back to that and metahuman. So we basically done most of the rigging for this character. So now we can close it, save all. Now the retarget is the export. So we need to now, let's rename this and let's say export to MH. So let's just call this the metahuman. And now when you open it, let's just keep it at metahuman. And now when you see his hands don't work. So before we start setting the pose, it's best to duplicate this. Let's call this export to female mannequin. And let's duplicate this and call this export to male mannequin. And we have all three of them ready. So let's fix the metahuman first. So let's go and set the pose to 0 and edit the pose. So rotate it 55 degrees and E5. I think the character is little. Yep. So the scale, I changed it back to 1 and save this. Now let's look at the animation. Now the character looks much better, but um, yeah, let's edit the pose a little bit more. And it's because these hands are here. Let's turn it 40 degrees. 40 degrees here. And now it's sort of a much better pose, but the metahuman is bending a lot forward than he should compared to the character. So let's go back and we can change the bone draw size here so it doesn't look that big. Here I would, let's play it again. So he's bending forward. So let's move it 10 degrees, 5 degrees there. 5, 10, 5 degrees. So let's look at that. Edit those. Closer. Degrees. Much closer. But yeah, you get the general idea of how to do that. So let's say we're done with that. Now this is only for the export to MH. Now you need to modify the export to female mannequin. So let's say female mannequin, zero that out, go to edit pose. Forty degrees. Seems fine. It's yeah, 40. This hand, 20 degrees. Redo the same thing on the right. 20 degrees. Pretty much close. Save that and close it. And now go to export to male mannequin. Same way, 0. He's too tall. So let's say 1. 975. That much. Edit the pose. 55. 45 degrees. 55. Yep. So that should be fine. So yep. He's still bending too much. So change the bone draw size. Okay. And that is done. So save all again. And now we need to basically go to character So let's get the export here. Let's put an animation on so when she's doing the dance. Now we need to retarget this. So we can just go to retarget, and in the retargeter, we need to decide which one to select. So the first one retargets to the female mannequin. And let's just add a prefix, female mannequin cap, and the export press retarget. So it just saves it there. So let's get the female there, put it there, add animation. So we now have the female doing that. Now go back to our rigging folder. Oh, sorry, the mocap folder. Now retarget this to the metahuman, and let's call it MH cap. Not yet. So go back to setting sequencer, drop in our metahuman. That and animation. Yeah, the metahuman looks stretchy. I will tell you how to fix that later, but yeah. So now come back to mocap, retarget again, and this time select the male mannequin, capiota, retarget. Sequencer, drag and drop. Now we have all four of them dancing together. Cool. I will make another tutorial regularly about more things I get to understand. So, thank you for watching.